Old Testament.
He says, for if he were on earth, he should not be a priest, seeing that there are priests that offer gifts according to the law, who serve unto the example and shadow of heavenly things, as Moses was admonished of God when he was about to make the tabernacle. For see, saith he, that thou make all things according to the pattern shown thee in the mount. But now he hath obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises. For if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. For finding fault with them, he said, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant. And I regarded them not, saith the Lord. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel in those days. I will put my laws in their minds and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be my people. Praise the Lord. And I'm going to read on down. In verse 13 he says, in that he saith a new covenant, he hath made the first old. Now that which decayeth and waxeth old is ready to vanish away. Verse chapter 9, then verily the first covenant had also ordinances of divine service and a word of sanctuary, for there was a tabernacle made, the first wherein was a candlestick. And he goes on and explains all of this. Verse 6, now when these things were thus ordained, the priests went always into the first tabernacle, accomplishing the service of God. But into the second went the high priest alone once every year, not without blood, which he offered for himself and for the errors of the people. The Holy Ghost, this signifying that the way into the holiest of all was not yet made manifest, while as the first tabernacle was yet standing, which was a figure for the time then present, in the which were offered both gifts and sacrifices that could not make him that did the service perfect, as pertaining to the conscience, which stood only in meats and drinks and in divers washings and carnal ordinances imposed on them until the time of reformation. See, this was something that they had to do in order to keep the sin rolled off of them until the time the salvation was truly going to come. There was no true salvation in the Old Testament.
Amen.
But Christ, being come and high priest of good things to come, by a greater and more perfect tabernacle, not made with hands, that is to say, not of this building, neither by the blood of goats and calves, but by his own blood, he entered in once into the holy place, having obtained eternal redemption for us. See, the redemption that they had was not eternal.
Come on.
It's clearly said that the high priest, that the priest went in what? Yearly.
Yes.
In order to roll the sins ahead. Because the blood of bulls and goats could not ever make the person that did the sacrifice, it did them no good.
Amen.
It didn't work on their hearts, not one bit.
No, sir.
It didn't change anything about their character. It didn't change anything about who they were. Only when Jesus Christ came was true salvation made available. And now, woo, Lord have mercy. So that brings us into the next one. How is salvation obtained in the New Testament? As we've already read, God had made a promise that he was going to do what? Make a new covenant.
That's right.
He says, I will write the laws into their hearts. It's not going to be like it was in the Old Testament, under the Old Covenant, where my laws was written on tables of stone. He said, but in this new covenant, through my spirit, I'm going to write my laws in their hearts. So, this was the promise of a new covenant. This was the promise of salvation through the Messiah of Jesus Christ. Yeah. Praise God. We see the evidence of this first mentioned in John chapter number 3. Starting at verse number 1. There was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews. The same came to Jesus by night and said unto him, Rabbi, we know that thou art a teacher come from God, for no man can do these miracles that thou doest except God be with him. Jesus answered and said, Verily, verily, or truly, truly, I say unto thee, except, and we preached a message here about that word except. The word except means that there is a specific people or a specific group. That's what it means. If you're under that except, if you're under the exception, then you're a part of that specific designated group. Person come up in here and say, okay, I only want people that's 20 years and under to come with me. That's the exception. The exception is 20 years and under. If you don't fall into that